Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. So today we are continuing our pants making project, and if you are new here you might want to check out my previous video where I show you how to draft out the patterns. So in this video we are going to focus more on cutting out the fabric and sewing the pant pieces together. So as you can see, I'm using an African print for this project and I've got about 1.5 yards for it. Now keep in mind that you might need more or less fabric depending on your size, so feel free to adjust accordingly. So the first thing I did was to place my fabric on fold with the front sides facing each other. Then I went ahead to position my pattern piece on top. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to close up my dart, which will give my short a seamless look at the front. So with my pattern piece in place, I went ahead to carefully cut out the fabric following the lines of my pattern. After cutting out the front piece, I move on to the back piece. I place my back pattern piece on the folded fabric, making sure to align it properly. As you can see, the back dart is open and will be sewn later. So I noticed that I didn't add sewing allowance at my waistline. So when sewing yours, make sure to add 0.5 inch sewing allowance. The next thing to do is to cut out the fabric following the pattern. After cutting out the fabric, make sure to notch the dart at the waistline, as this will help you to avoid confusion later on when sewing the pieces together. So for the waistband, you will need to cut out 2 pieces of this on your fabric. Before cutting, make sure your fabric is on fold and remember to add 0.5 seam allowance at the end where the waistband will be attached to the short. This will ensure there is no shortage on your fabric. I have proceeded to cut out my waistband. After cutting that, I stabilized one side of the waistband with pepper stay. I'm moving on to cutting out the side pocket on my pattern paper and also on the fabric. After that, I will set it aside and tell you what next to do. To avoid this video being too long, I've already cut and stitched my pocket pieces together. So if you're interested in seeing a detailed tutorial on how I did it, let me know in the comment section and I will consider covering it in my next video. Now that we have our side pockets ready, let's move on to sewing the center front of the shirt. As you can see, I'll be stitching along the center front line and I'll be using 0.5 seam allowance. I will start sewing from the top at the side front waistline down to the crotch area. I will do the exact same thing at the center back, sewn with same 0.5 seam allowance. Now that I've sewn the center front and the center back of my shirt, here is what it looks like. So the next thing is to attach the pocket to the shirt. So I'll place the pocket on the shirt with the right side facing each other, and then I will sew them together with 0.5 inch sewing allowance. So I will go ahead to top stitch on the lining part of the pocket. So here is the look of my pocket after sewing. So let's take a look at how it turned out. So the next thing I did was to bring in my back piece and then remark the dart lines to avoid mistakes. Then I will take it to my sewing machine and sew along the dart lines. Now that the dart are sewn and ironed out, it's time to attach the waistband. Go ahead and attach your waistband to your shirt with 0.5 inches. I will do that and bring it back to show you how it turns out. So this is my shirt after sewing the waistband. So the next thing to do is to join the front and back pieces together so we can work on the side and the crotch area of the shirt. So go ahead and sew the side with 0.5 inches and also the crotch area with 0.5 inches sewing allowance. So now that the side and the crotch area are sewn, let's work on the hem of the shirt. So I'm going for a different look at the hemline. I want to add a unique effect at the hemline. So to do this, I'll measure down the shirt to ensure I have a desired length. Once I am sure of the length, I will cut out the folding allowance. But before cutting out the folding allowance, make sure to add sewing allowance to the pant. This way, when you attach the band, you can maintain the same height. So I've gone ahead to cut out the band, so I'll be attaching it to the hemline with 0.5 seam allowance. After that, I'll move on to installing the side zip. Once I'm done, I will show you the finished look. So here is the finished look of my pants. I'm really happy how it turned out. It looks just as I imagined and the fit is perfect. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.